They have an announcement. They're going back to camp this week. No.
I'm ready. Let's go. I was trying to think. I think we met in 93? 93. John used to wear these beads that were like, it was like, they were so long, and we'd like wrap them around. And anyway, so I was wearing them one day. This was like the first time I did anything with John. And I was wearing them, and I had taken them from him, and I busted them all over a McDonald's floor. I don't know what sentimental value they had to John, but that was it. They were at McDonald's floor. Who's going to pick up McDonald's floor? Yeah, the white one.
See, that's bad. That's bad that I don't remember which one it's like.
All right, so we just got back from camp, and we are so excited. And there was definitely, it's funny you should say, going back this week, there were kids that were like, why don't we just do this all the time? Why don't we just stay at camp? And so we had to talk to them about, you can't just stay in your Jesus bubble because the world needs Jesus, you know? Your parents need to see the transformation, right? Oh, that is a great picture. Is that not a great picture of Josh? Like, he's going. Anyways, all the things that I thought to say while we were doing worship, and now I'm distracted with pictures. But anyway, so many good things. One of the things that I love about camp is it's such a privilege for us to be able to see, and I think of this like every time, and I'm just like at services, I'm just like, I wish so-and-so could be here. I wish so-and-so could be here. And Lauren can attest to this. I used to say, man, y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta, you just don't know. And she's like, yeah, camp's not my favorite. And I'm like, yeah. And then she went, and then she was like, I'm going every year until she had kids, and it gets real hard. But anyway, so we get the distinct privilege of seeing God move in your kids' lives, in your kids' lives, but also in the kids of our friends. Because as we go to EYC year after year, and we counted it up, we've been going 10 years now. And these are our friends. These are our ministry friends. These are the people that we call when we need encouragement. And so one thing that I thought the first night, whenever we were first service, and I thought, it just reminded me again what the enemy stole in 2020. The fact that we couldn't go, for Robert and I, and the encouragement that the week brings for us, for the kids and the encouragement that it brings to them, and just unifying the group, because it's from Seguin to Palestine, what is it, Mount Pleasant up there, like Houston, all around. So it really unifies a territory, and we all get on the same page. And anyway, so it's just wonderful. And it just was reminded on Monday how much the enemy stole, and it just made me like, that's it, we're gonna make up for lost time. And it was really good. I definitely saw some things. I don't want to embarrass any kids, but there were some times where I looked over and I was like, I see them stepping into things that God has for them that they don't even know God has for them. And so, anyways, you want to share?
Just like Bethany was saying, we saw the kids. We saw growth in the kids. Some of it just maturity a little bit. Some of it stepping into a little deeper understanding and new experiences. So it was really awesome to see that, and we're just excited. We're hoping to keep it and keep on going throughout the year with that and building off of that, not just that happened and then move on. We want to build off of that and continue it. So encourage the kids to get into the Bible and to pray, because that's how you grow. But it was really cool. They made some new friends. Raise your hand if you made new friends. So it's really cool the way that they do it. You don't necessarily go into one area with just people you know. You get split up. Everybody gets split with new people, and it stretches them, and it's a good experience. So we consider it a privilege to take them, and we also took another. Well, we didn't take them, but we were the youth pastors for them, kind of. At Cornerstone from Brenham came with us, and then also some from Dames and Judy's Red Cabin Church came with us. So it was a blessing to just be able to pour into their lives and spend time with them. That's all.
I was just going to say, if any of you feel called to help out the youth group. Robert and I have been on very minimal staff for the last couple of years, and I thought it was really interesting. I kind of was like, really, Lord, what are you doing? We represented 3 youth groups at camp, and when we did group photo and we did all the things, I was like, okay, Robert, it's just me and Robert. Everybody else is bringing like all this staff, and it's just me and Robert. So anyways, it's a conversation. Some kids have testimonies. I'm stumbling on my words. So if you have something that you want to share, go ahead and come up here and stand by us. And you can see there, you got Cornerstone on the end and the middle. And honestly, Morgan and Zoe from Red Cabin Church are just ours. They're just part of us. We just love them to pieces. Those girls, so sweet. And I will say this. I wanted to mention Keely and Cole texted us last night, and they wanted to come. I don't know, those of you that don't know, they do help us with the youth group.
That's my son.
So Keely and Cole texted. They were in a horrible accident a few days before camp. They were supposed to go as counselors. Interestingly enough, the group of boys that Cole was supposed to be a counselor to, he got in a car wreck. They reassigned him to a new counselor. That counselor got in a car wreck. So they said, never mind, and they reassigned all the boys. They were like, split it up and reassigned it to different counselors. So anyways, Cole and Keely were not able to attend camp with us, and I just wanted, please continue to pray for them. They wanted to be here. They texted us this morning and said, we're sorry, they did not sleep well last night. They're still having a lot of pain. Keely is in a lot of pain. And so please pray for them. She does have the surgery on Thursday, right? Yeah. So getting some pins and rods. And that's a testimony in and of itself, and maybe she'll share whenever she is able to come back, but it is a miracle that those two are still with us. So, all right, son, you ready?
All right. My name's Joshua. So on the last night, whenever we were worshiping, I kind of just, I got out of my comfort zone, and I kind of saw hands, like markings of hands on people, like either on the heads or on the backs. So I just kind of felt that's where I should have prayed for them.
Hey guys, you can tell I went to camp because I lost my voice again, so super cool. I'm gonna use my phone because I was writing everything down like throughout the week. But this year was really cool. It was my first year as a counselor, and also my team won, so go yellow. Yay! We only had 3 losers, so. Sorry, they were on the blue team. I'm not a counselor. So this week was really cool. I was like really excited going into it. I was like, wow, I can't wait to see what God has for me, and like it's gonna be super awesome. And I got there, and the only thing I cared about were my campers. Like I was like, oh, like yeah, me too, I guess, but no, like my campers. We had this thing that we called Devo Smile, my girls and I, because when they would share, I would just be sitting there staring at them like, and I just couldn't stop smiling, and they were like, honestly, it's a little creepy, but okay. But yeah, so Wednesday night was the night that like really hit my girls. I had a lot of first timers, and they were like, on the first night, they were like, what is happening? What? And then on the second night, they were like, oh, that's what's happening. And it like kind of all like they got to experience it. And one of them, her testimony is the one that really stuck out to me. She said like she was pushing and she was trying, but like she just like wasn't connecting. Like nothing was happening. She saw everyone else getting words, everyone else, things were happening for them, and she just got nothing. She was feeling really discouraged, and she was about to just give in and give up and just like not care anymore. And then the speaker, like points in her direction and starts giving this like crazy word. She was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. And she turns around and it was for the girl behind her. And she was like, literally, like, it was everything that I needed and it was just ripped away from me. And she just felt like really discouraged. And then one of the other speakers came up to her and she was like, hey, like, God just wants me to tell you, you're not being overlooked. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that was like really crazy. They all just like, they would ask questions and then like 10 minutes later they'd get an answer. And I was like, isn't that crazy? It's wild. But yeah, all of it was just so crazy to see like my girls get touched and like everything that they wanted they got. It was one thing I didn't care about all week. It was great. It was awesome. So try and talk.
This was another one that was almost in the car wreck the day before. So praise God. He's okay.
Hey everybody. So I also was a first-time counselor, and I had a couple girls in my group.
Forgot about this.
They just really didn't want to be there. They constantly said, you know, I don't want to be here, I don't like you, I don't like this, I don't believe in this. It was just a lot of rah. And so, me being me, I am such a loving, like I love to give my love to others, and I'm such a like people pleaser that I'm like constantly pouring into other people and just like letting my bucket run dry. But and so it really, really broke my heart that I could not help and heal those girls, that they just weren't accepting. And so they only lasted until like Tuesday. And then Tuesday night service, I was just, you know, in my worship zone, and I was just like, God, why did you have to give me the girls that didn't want to be here, that I couldn't love, that I couldn't fix? And he was just like, Andrea, it is not your job, it's mine. Don't put those burdens on you, put them on me. The best thing that you can do is pray for them and love them from a distance. And so that's what I did. I was like, okay, Lord, I'm gonna step back. I'm really gonna be a messenger for you instead of a fixer. So that's that testimony. And then my other one, my last year of camp in 2018, I was a senior and I really wanted to find my career path and everything like that. I was really indecisive, and so I got a vision of, you know, me being a nurse in the hospital praying over babies. So I was like, okay, nurse, got it. And this year, they called up for health ministry, and so I stood up, and the lady that was prophesying over me, she told me that God was going to give me a superpower to know beforehand when someone is sick, so that way I can pray for them and heal them beforehand. And I was just blown away because my vision was me praying over people. And so that was just a really confirmation for me that I'm gonna be a healer. And I think I really have always felt that in my heart because I am a people pleaser and I love to, you know, try and fix and heal and do all those things. But yeah, I just got touched with all of that and confirmation. So great.
And you leave for Belton Nursing School, UMHB, when?
July 23rd, I move in. So
And we sent it to her
yeah.
#1 school. Oh, wait. Go, Abby.
Hi. This will be my second year in camp as a camper. And during the beginning of the week, I saw my friends experiencing the Holy Spirit, and I wanted that too. So I just was, I just kept on, praising the Lord and receiving Him. So on Thursday, it really hit me. I was on the floor crying really hard, and I'm a very emotional person, so, and yeah. And then I realized, everybody experiences it differently. Some people get laughter, some people cry, and some people get silly.
She cut her eyes at you? What was that?
Matthew over there in that section. And for my second, that was my first testimony, so my second one. Also on Thursday, they called up for medical if you want to be a vet, doctor, anything in the medical. So I really want to be a vet, so I went up there and I got a vision of a dog just sitting there and panting, and I was there taking care of it in my lab coat. And also after the medical, they called up missionary, missions. So I went up there as well because why not?
Watch out.
So I also had the same vision, but more was added. I was actually in a village taking care of the pets.
Wow.
So
You got room in Ghana for you.
so that's my testimony.
I will say, and she's one that I saw move into a whole new realm of prophetic worship and prayer. And I looked over one time, I was like, I didn't know we brought Karen with us to camp. I was like, you go, girl.
Hi. So this is my second year going to camp, and it was even more than I thought it would be, and it was amazing. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I experienced the Holy Spirit differently than I usually do. I was laughing, which brought me the most joy and peace I have probably ever felt in my entire life. And I got to experience that every day. It was life-changing, and I will never forget, and I hope to hold on to that joy. That was the first thing. The second thing, I wanted to see what God had for me in the future. For a while now, I've been wanting to be a science teacher. Love science, wanted to be a science teacher. So I was laying in my bunk one night, and I asked God, what do you want for me? What are your plans? And He said, I'm not going to tell you, but somebody else will. So for the first time this year, I went to songwriting class. Never done anything like it. And I've been feeling God telling me, you need to go and just try it, just one time. And if you don't like it, you don't have to go back. I went back every day. So I don't even remember what day it was. One of the days after we had finished that portion of songwriting, Mr. Zach, he was the one doing songwriting with us, he told me, Jordan, and then I turned around and he looked me in my eyes and he said, Jordan, you were made to do this. You were made to do songs, you were made to worship, you were made to do these things. And he left, and I was like, okay. And I was like, oh gosh. And I'm like, God, this this is what you want. And he's like, yeah, this is what I want from you. So, yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Hello again. So, on the last night, the same night, there was this person. He came up and prayed for me and for me to focus on worshiping God. He also said I would meet him again in 20 years. So, looking forward to that. And so he said keep my arms up, and even though they get tired, just keep them up. So around 5 minutes later, they started to get heavy and tired. So I asked God to give me strength. So this really tall person in my cabin, he came up and he just lifted my arms up. What? So he did that for like a minute or two, and then whenever he stopped, they just felt normal. So yeah.
Cool. That's so cool.
So I did want to go back to Andrea's campers. I thought the same thing. Lord, she's a first-time camper. Counselor, why would you do this? But the way they assign campers to counselors is they pray over them and they literally draw names out of a hat. That's why they ask us not to do bunk buddies. I know sometimes for first-year campers we do, but they draw names out of a hat, and it's just let the Lord kind of assign campers and counselors. And that was really tough. And I know that, Andrea came to me and she's like, I'm really trying not to cry. I'm really trying to keep it together. But like, they basically said, why are you trying to be my friend? I don't want to be your friend. I don't like you. I don't want to be with you. All of the things. And these two girls, pretty much, one of them has been with us a few times. And this, so we've seen this behavior before. And we did minister to them. And they were able to go home. That's what they wanted. And so they were able to go home, but their youth pastors continue to minister to them, and we kind of handle that as delicately as possible. It is not a prison. You are not there like under duress. You can go home whenever you want. But we also know that a lot of times parents will try to step out in faith and have their kids attend, because even just a little experience, a little seed goes a long way. And so we just continue to pray for those ladies and ask Lord to just grow the seed that's been. And I actually really, for one of them, I was like, all right, Lord, there's going to be a year she's going to come back, and she's going to, I don't know necessarily apologize, but she's going to come back and she's going to be different, because we're going to continue to worship, to pray for her and all of that. There was something else I was going to say. Talking about God answering your prayer, we heard that a couple of times from these students. And there was another kid of ours that had a lot of questions and just really didn't know, kind of wanted some things explained. And I explained some things. And then the next night, Jeff Collins, the guy who was doing the ministering, he actually spent a long time explaining a lot of the things specifically that this student had asked me. And I just thought, man, isn't that cool that God, he hears our questions, he meets us where we're at, and he answers those questions in different ways, but I don't know, that was encouraging to me.
How many people have been to church camp before? Well, hopefully y'all. Hopefully that's where y'all were. Let me see y'all's hands again. While I was looking, I was only half looking. Okay. There is nothing like church camp. There isn't. And over the years, one of the things I've learned about church camp is sometimes it doesn't seem like maybe something happens. But the amazing thing, and I was just talking to Pastor yesterday about some stuff, and he was just asking how things were going and all that, and how do you feel, and things like that. And it's amazing how life will deposit seeds in you that you do not know have been put there. And so they may have been put there and they've been dormant for a long time, but when the conditions get right, the atmosphere is right, something begins to blossom. And the wonderful thing about camp is it is a massive download of God and seed and things. And as much as kids come back and, unfortunately sometimes we fall back into old routines, memories and things have been planted. And when I was studying this week for this week's topic, one of the ladies was talking about how memories are actually formed and how they are not just formed, but how they stick. And it was a neat thing, and I'm not going to share it because it was for me. But it's interesting to understand that memories are made, and memories are made around an experience with God. And as God has planted seed in their hearts, it's just neat to see what happens and what comes from that. I don't know. It was. I'm saying this. Is Bethany Roberts still in here? Robert's busy. Okay. I was just thinking as they were talking that my first camp experience as youth pastor, it was with Bethany and Robert as youth, and then as youth leaders. And so to see that whole thing go, and now here we sit, and I'm as pastor, and there's youth pastors, and they're taking our kids and y'all's kids. It was neat to see that. Never underestimate the seed that's planted in somebody's heart. That being said,